হয়ে গেছে হয়ে গেছে।
Now start.
Good morning, sir, and very good morning to all my fellow classmates. I am Anukriti Vera, along with Kaustav Dhar Sharma. Today, we are going to present our topic, eco-friendly and sustainable mobility. So here it is the contents of our presentation. So first, we need to know that what is meant by sustainable mobility. So sustainable mobility, it advocates a way of moving around that does not harm the environment through polluting emissions and meets the need of citizens while taking care of the city spaces. So moving in a sustainable way refers to the choice of preferring ecological transportation, means walking or biking, and public transportation to reduce CO2 emissions. So what is the main idea behind sustainable mobility? So the concept of sustainable mobility derives from the broader concept of sustainable development that defined as the development that meets the need of present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Okay. Then what is the sustainable development goals? So sustainable development goals are a universal call to action to end poverty and protect our planet but improve the lives and prospects of everyone. And it covers different aspects of social development, environment protection, and economic growth. And these are the main ones. So we need to find that what vehicular air pollution causes and how it affects us. And we need to minimize the effect of vehicular air pollution on the health of citizens and economy of the country. Then first we have to know that what is vehicular pollution. So for decades, we have become accustomed to gas-powered vehicles, and these vehicles help us move from one place to another place. However, they all emit some dangerous gases and other pollutants, and that is generally known as vehicular pollution. So vehicular pollution is the introduction of harmful material into the environment by motor vehicles. And these materials known as pollutants have several bad effects on human health and on the ecosystem. And transportation is a major source of air pollution in many countries around the world due to high number of vehicles that are available on the roads. So an increase in purchasing power means that more people can now afford cars, and this is so bad for the environment because this pollution has grown at an alarming rate due to growing urbanization in India, and the pollution from vehicles in urban areas, particularly in big cities, has become a serious problem. So this pollution from vehicles has begun to tell through symptoms like headache, cough, nausea, irritations of eyes, and various bronchial and visibility problems. So the ingredients of vehicular pollution. The following are the major pollutants associated with motor vehicles. First one is ozone. So this is an unstable compound and it is formed in the atmosphere through a complex set of chemical reactions involving hydrocarbons, oxides of nitrogen and sunlight. And ozone can also trigger a variety of health problems including chest pain, coughing, throat irritation, and ozone can also reduce lung function in the lining of lungs. Second is particulate matter. So it is a complex mixture of extremely small particles and liquid droplets. These particles can be directly emitted from the sources such as forest fires, or they come from when gas emitted from power plants and industries. And these particles now affected both our lungs and hearts because numerous studies have linked particles pollution exposure to a variety of problems, including decreased lung function and increased our respiratory system problems, and such as irritation in the airways, coughing on difficulty and breathing, asthma problems, etc. Third is nitrogen oxides. These vehicular air pollutants can cause lung irritation and weaken the body's defenses against respiratory infections such as pneumonia and influenza. And in addition, they can also assist in the formation of ozone and particulate matter. Fourth is carbon monoxide. So this is an odorless, colorless gas, and that is formed by the combustion of fossil fuels such as gasoline. Cars and trucks are the source of nearly two-thirds of the pollutant, and when it inhaled, CO means carbon monoxide blocks the transport of oxygen to the brain, heart, and other vital organs in the human body. And newborn child and people with chronic illness are especially susceptible to the effects of carbon monoxide. Fifth is sulfur dioxide. So motor vehicles create these pollutants by burning sulfur-containing fuels, especially diesel, and it can react in the atmosphere to form fine particles and can pose a health risk to young children and asthmatics. And sixth is hazardous air pollution, and these chemical compounds also emits by from cars, trucks, and this also creates human and this also creates some bad impacts on human health. So next, the dynamic of vehicular emission and air pollution. So what is the main cause of vehicular pollution? So the main cause of vehicular pollution is rapidly growing number of vehicles, and the other factors of vehicular pollution in the urban areas are two-stroke engines, four-stroke engines, poor fuel quality, old vehicles, inadequate maintenance, congested traffic, poor road condition, old automotive technologies, and traffic management system. But however, the main sources contributing to air pollution are well identified, and this is list for common for all Indian cities like vehicle exhaust, heavy industry including power generation, small scale industries, and suspended dust on the roads due to vehicle movement and construction activities. So here is the examples of vehicles that causes air pollution like two-stroke engine and four-stroke engine. Okay. Then I am explaining that what is two-stroke engine and what is four-stroke engine and how they works and how it creates pollution. So a two-stroke engine is basically a type of reciprocating engine that uses only two strokes of the piston to complete a power supply, and it completes the one revolution of the crankshaft after the completion of two piston stroke. So it includes four processes like intake, compression, power, and exhaust process. So the intake and compression process are completed in the first stroke of the piston, and the power and exhaust process are completed in the second stroke of the piston. And the thermal efficiency of a two-stroke engine has depends on the design and models of the vehicles. So two-stroke engine is only converts 20% of the chemical power to mechanical power, and only 15% of this energy is used to drive the vehicle's wheels, while remaining the 5% losses resist friction and others. So two-stroke engines produce a lot of pollution because the fuel air mixture in them gets contaminated with the engine's lubricating oils. So the combustion chamber draws in the contaminated mixture as exhaust gases are expelled through an exhaust port. But two-stroke engines produce high levels of hydrocarbons in exhaust emissions, 5,500 per million, compared with 850 per ppm for four-stroke engines. And the two-stroke engine has developed reputed as an environmental hazard because this engine lacks an independent lubrication system fuel and that to be mixed with oil. So cities where two-stroke engine are in particularly wide, they suffer from air pollution. Where the four-stroke engine is an IC engine that uses four strokes of the piston to complete a working cycle, and it converts the thermal energy of the fuel into useful mechanical work due to the upward and downward movement of the piston. So it completes a power cycle after the completion of the revolution of the crankshaft and four strokes of the piston. So these engines are mostly used in light trucks, buses, and cars and other vehicles. So in this reciprocating engine, the compression process occurs due to the up and down movement of the piston. So four-stroke engine tends to be more durable and a quieter option compared to a two-stroke engine because the four-stroke engine is clear because it burns pure petrol. And it has some disadvantage because it is less powerful, because as power gets delivered once every two rotations of crankshaft, hence a four-stroke engine is less powerful. And it is also expensive because a four-stroke engine has much more parts than two-stroke engine. Then the another causes of vehicular air pollution. So first is concentration of SO2. So it can be clearly observed that the concentration of SO2 is much lower than relative to NO2 concentrations, because we must note that the level of SO2 is well within the NAC standard of 80 microgram per meter cube, unlike the level of NO2, which also has a standard of 80 microgram per meter cube. And the main sources of NO2 in Kolkata is automobile exhaust and different industrial pollutants. Second point is vehicle addition. So around 4,500 new vehicles added in the city, and it is increasing every year. So as the amount road space is constricted, and due to unplanned traffic management, normal vehicular movement is restricted. So it increases the fuel consumption and exhaust emissions, which lead to NO2 concentration. So third is NO2 concentration, because the high level of NO2 concentration in Kolkata contributed to the heavy vehicular traffic in the city. And fourth is industrial emissions. And the other NO2 include industrial emissions because it burn fossil fuels. And on the other hand, sources such as power plants and industries have relatively high SO2 concentrations. Okay. Then the effects of vehicular pollution. So one of the most leading effects of vehicular pollution is the global warming, because vehicular pollution results in the emissions of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, and which results in the depletion of ozone layer, and it causes global warming. And it also increases in the atmospheric temperature that leads to global warming. Second point is poor quality of air, because there are some countries in the city where the quality of air is so poor that people wear masks to reduce the amounts of harmful substances that they inhaled. Third is smog and acidic rain. So nitrogen oxides that contribute to the formation of highly corrosive smoke that speeds up rusting of vehicles. When nitrogen oxide dissolves in rain, the acidic rain is formed. The effects of air pollution on citizens and economy of India. So top scientists said that the lung capacity of Indians is 30% lower than North Americans or Europeans, making them highly vulnerable to diabetes and heart attacks or strokes. And Dr. Anurag Agarwal, director of CSIR, Institute of Genomics and Integrative Biology, believes that air pollution, along with ethnicity, physical activity, and nutrition upbringing are the major factors behind this. So there include some short-term and long-term cases. So short-term cases may include, but not limited to, the nose and eye itching problems, but it also creates some problems on headaches, and it creates allergic reactions, nausea, and some milder upper respiratory infections. And the long-term ones are the most serious because it causes lung cancer, and it also damage our brain, especially that is seen in children. And it also damage the kidney and liver. Uh, and the air pollution may further complicated and already existing in a medical condition. And third is in a study that health effects due to chronic exposure to air pollution in Kolkata showed there's a strong link between air pollution and pulmonary, because hematologic immune system and genotoxic changes that are seen in the, and that can lead a number of diseases such as respiratory illness, cardiovascular problems, and cancer. So, and in a study done in Kolkata between 1996 and 2001, which proved that the lung condition of an average citizens of Kolkata is about 7 times more troubled than the ones living in rural areas due to air pollution. And about 40% of the population of Kolkata suffers from the lower respiratory tract infections. And some studies show that in 1990s, in Kolkata, more than 10,000 deaths occurred due to suspended particulate matter. And suspended particulate matter with a diameter of less than 10 micrometers is too small to be filtered by the natural protective mechanisms that of human respiratory system upon inhalation, such as allergic reactions, topic dermatitis, and asthma. And apart from these health implications, they also affect some visibility problems and infrastructures and damage our infrastructure. And in recent studies show that the suspended particulate matter severely affects human health. Then the next topic is air pollution and its impacts. So air pollution, it's now the worsening air pollution has been amongst the India's most pressing problems in recent years. And but toxic air is not only a massive health problem, but it also our environmental concern, and it also takes a huge economic toll, and it impedes development and affects people welfare. So air pollution is a contamination of indoor or outdoor environment by any chemical, physical, or biological agent that modifies the natural characteristics of atmosphere. And household combustion also in motor vehicles, like industrial facilities and forest fires, are common sources of air pollution. So this pollution poses a major threat to health and climate. So according to Health Effects Institute in 2015, over 1.9 million premature deaths in India were caused by air pollution that led to about 18% of all deaths in the country. Okay, then I'm telling that how economic impacts and how that air pollution creates effect on economic. So the estimation results indicate that the haze pollution indeed has a significantly negative impact on economic development, because the market impacts of outdoor air pollution, which include impacts on labor productivity, health expenditures, and agriculture, crop yields, are projected to lead to the global economic loss that costs that gradually increase 1% of global GDP. So, in India, according to a report, incurred over USD 55 million in losses in terms of reduced labor output caused by air pollution in 2013, and this is 0.84% of GDP. And the overall economic cost of air pollution is essential because at 7% of GDP, or 14 lakh crores, which is almost twice the country's fiscal deficit. Next is that crop yields and food security. So, vehicular air pollution is also damage crops and trees in a variety of ways, and the grounded level ozone can lead to reduction in agriculture's crops and commercial forest yields. These pollutions are damaging the yields of food crops and its nutritional quality and safety, and imposing a major risk to food security. The pollution disrupt the plant's biochemical and physiological reactions to a certain degree, as the strong oxidant ozone causes symptoms in crops such as yellowing and reddening. Uh, in India, which produced a record wet harvest of 100 million tons in 2018 to 2019, could have produced 40 million tons more if air quality was as clean as it was 50 years ago. In India, air pollution is cutting yields of wheat and rice crops in half, according to a study from 2014, and researchers mostly attribute this to a grounded level ozone, to a short-lived pollutant that exists in the atmosphere for weeks or at months at a time. So up to 90% of the decrease in potential food production seems that to be linked to air pollution, which changes linked to global warming, and the precipitation levels accounted for the remaining 10%. Next is the health impacts of air pollution. So air pollution also is now the biggest environmental risk for early death at least 30% of deaths can be attributed to air pollution from fossil fuels. That means about 2.5 million people die every year after. Then I'm talking that how that impacts of the air pollution on women, children, and the elderly and the poor people. So this is because the poor families have less access to the healthcare to abate the harmful effects of pollution on their health. So the negative effects of pollution on child health is the worst for the poor households. So in every 3 minutes, a child in India dies because of inhaling toxic pollution in the air. And air pollution also creates impacts on the neurodevelopment and the cognitive ability, and that can trigger asthma in the children. So exposed to children that have an increased prevalence of low birth weights, about low respiratory infections as anemia and premature mortality that are seen basically in the children. And in the on the other hand, lung cancer, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and cardiovascular diseases are the major causes of disability and premature deaths in women. And results of a study conducted in southern India reported that the highest prevalence of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease among biomass fuel users than clean fuel users. It also found that the prevalence was 2 times higher in women because they spent more than 2 hours in a day in cooking. So these bad effects are creating so much problems on human health. So we need to reduce the vehicular air pollution. So first we need to change petroleum fuel vehicles to fuel cell technology. We need to put more electric cars on the road. We should avoid idling, and we need to reduce distance driven and time on the road. We should change travel and commuting patterns. We should keep our cars in top condition, and we can drive a more fuel efficient car, and we need to build a public transportation. So that's all from my side, and the next part will be explained by Kaustav. Over to you.
Thank you, Anukriti. Okay, so as my friend Anukriti explained how that pollution causes and how it's affect our life, now I will explain the solutions like sustainable transportation, which is the mean of transportation that is green and low impact on environment, that is which doesn't causes pollution. Sustainable transportation is also about balancing our current and future needs. So when we are developing sustainable transportation, we also keep in mind our future needs. Examples are like cycling, transit, carpooling, sharing, and green vehicles. So these are the sustainable mobility solutions like cycling, metro, electric vehicles, methanol powered vehicles, hydrogen powered vehicles, solar powered planes, hydrogen powered planes, and bullet trains. So first of them is cycling. Bicycle riding uses minimum fossil fuel, and it is a pollution-free mode of transport. We all know that. And it also reduces the need to build service and dispose of cars. Cycle is very small, and it is easy to dispose after its life cycle is over, and cars are very big, so that is also a fact. And bicycle riding also conserve roadway and residential space, thereby providing opportunities for less concrete and more plant in urban lives. Like cars are very big, and so they take up a lot of space, so you have to make widened roads for them to run. But bicycle is small, so their requirements of space is very small too. Next one, please. So advantages of cycling are increased cardiovascular fitness, increase muscle strength and flexibility, improved joint mobility, decreased stress levels, and decreased body fat levels. So these are health benefits of cycling. And disadvantages are exposure to road elements, road hazards, limited travel distance, lack of bicycle lanes, and inability to carry passengers. So these are the capacity and accident like disadvantages which cause from cycling. So next is metro. Metro is one of the best choice for eco-friendly, sustainable transportation. In fact, a person riding metro to work for a year instead of driving prevents nearly 5,000 pounds of harmful pollutants from entering our air. It also reduces the greenhouse gases and conserve dwindling fossil fuels. Metro has encouraged people to switch from private to public mode of travel, resulting in positive effects of air quality in the city. So these are the benefits of metro, like reduction in air pollution, time saving to passengers, reduction in accidents, and reduction in traffic congestion and fuel savings. Advantages of metro are like they are high capacity carrier. They can carry around 800 to 1000 passengers.
Okay. Next slide.
Greater স্যার কিছু বলছেন?
না তুমি বলো, কন্টিনিউ করো।
Greater traffic capacity carries much more traffic as 7 lanes of bus traffic, very low ground space occupation, and it is also fast by 50 to 75%. So some of the disadvantages are more heat is generated, weather variance, losing the traction advantage in inclement weather, tire replacement cost. Next one, please. So next is electric vehicles. Electric cars give us cleaner streets, make our towns and cities a better place to be for pedestrians and cyclists, and can make towards improving air quality in towns and cities. An electric vehicle will produce fewer emissions than a comparable gasoline powered car. However, if we are looking to generate as close to zero well wheel emissions as possible, this is an overreaching term that includes greenhouse gases and air pollution that are emitted to produce and distribute the energy being used to power the car. The advantages of electric cars are no gas is required. They entirely run on electricity and we don't have to buy gas. More convenient, it is easy to recharge, and it will no longer need to run to fuel station, means we can recharge electric power cars from our home only. So no emissions, they are 100% eco-friendly as they run on electric powered engines. It does not emit any toxic gases or particles. It is also safe to drive. This car is safer because given their low center of gravity, which makes them much more stable on the road, and cost effective also. And the mass production of batteries and available tax intensive further brought down the cost, making it more cost effective. Now some of the disadvantages are short driving range and speed, because battery limits the capacity to means for a long distance, and longer recharge time also. As we know, it takes a lot of time, 8 to 10 hours to recharge big cars, and facing shortage of power, like if power fails in load setting, or in that case that it will cause problem for the owner of the car. Next one, please. So next one is methanol powered vehicles. So methanol is much reactive than gasoline in the atmosphere, with the only toxic component of the emission being formaldehyde, as compared to dozens of carcinogenic components of gasoline emissions, which also contains catalytic converters. Has shown that methanol fuel auto emissions meet and exceed the California stringent ultra low emission vehicle emission targets for formaldehyde. The compounds do not readily biodegrade in the environment and are capable of contaminating groundwater supplies. So benefits of methanol power are low emission fuel. Methanol is a clean burning fuel that produces fewer smoke causing emissions. It also improves the air quality and related human health issues. A variety of sources. Methanol is most commonly produced on a commercial scale from the natural gas. It can also be produced from renewable sources such as biomass and CO2. High octane. As high octane vehicle fuel, methanol offers excellent acceleration and power. It also improves vehicle efficiency and it is economical too. Methanol can be produced, distributed, and sold to consumers at a price competitive to that of gasoline and diesel, with no need for government subsidies. So disadvantages of methanol fuel are, though its emissions are safer than that of gasoline, it has high amount of formaldehyde emissions, and the cost of methanol is also slightly higher than that of premium gasoline. So next one is hydrogen powered vehicles. So hydrogen powered vehicles provide many similar benefits as electric cars, including the all important lack of polluting emissions. While the process to produce hydrogen gas can be complex, it is the most abundant element in the universe, meaning that hydrogen is a renewable fuel source. It is a type of alternative fuel vehicle that uses hydrogen fuel for motive power. Power is generated by converting the chemical energy of the hydrogen to mechanical energy, either by reacting hydrogen with oxygen or using a fuel cell to power the electric motors. It also plentiful and burns cleanly, producing no carbon dioxide and no carbon monoxide. So benefits of hydrogen fuels are: hydrogen is readily available in the infinite quantities in the universe. It is also renewable. It is also clean burning, that is, it does not produce carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, etc. Only produces byproducts is water. It's fast refueling. Hydrogen burns faster and at a low temperature than convenient gasoline, and no engine sound. It leads to less road noise. But some of the disadvantages of using hydrogen as a fuel are lower efficiency. Like hydrogen fuels have bad theoretical and practical efficiency. Hydrogen storage and transportation is hydrogen is much more lighter gas than gasoline, which makes it difficult to store and transport. And it is also highly flammable, and it is also very expensive to purchase and maintain. So next one is solar powered plane. Solar powered plane may potentially be a driving force to enhance the world's effort in improving the development and use of clean energy technologies. Airplane emissions could consume a significant amount of the remaining global carbon budget. International aviation is responsible for 448 million metric tons of CO2 emissions. As planes fly at high altitude, emissions of the NOx result in even greater concentration of the ozone than ground level emissions, and emissions of water vapor create condensation that trails that contribute to warming. Overall, these statistics about current aircraft indicate that there is necessary. And next is hydrogen powered planes.
Okay. Gustav.
The screen tag, yes. So I was talking about hydrogen powered planes. So hydrogen powered planes emit zero CO2 emissions and demonstrate (50 to 75%) with fuel cell technology by 75 to 90%. Next are bullet trains, also called high-speed railway. Bullet trains is particularly important as it offered an established low-carbon alternative to short-distance flights. They include transportation benefits, congestion relief, and faster travel, and also numerous job as well as environmental impacts such as reduced greenhouse gas emissions, improved energy efficiency, revitalized communities, and improved safety. With regards to emissions, high-speed trains use electric traction system, means they contribute less to fuel consumption than other means of transport. So where does India stands in sustainable mobility? So the National Hydrogen Mission and the green hydrogen sector will give us quantum jump in meeting our climate targets. We have to make India a green hydrogen hub, and this also will lead to a clean energy transition. Indian car makers like Tata and Ashok Leyland already produce electric vehicles, and many foreign companies are also producing e-vehicles in India. Ola has built the largest scooter plant in the world, and it produces e-scooters. India has also launched a PLI scheme which will promote the making of e-vehicles in India at component level. Number 3 is India already has 700 km plus of metro network and is expanding in a very fast pace. Metro will be instrumental for India to reduce carbon footprint. Number 4 is India is constructing the 542-kilometer Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet train with Japanese help and has plans to build many more bullet trains across the country. So conclusion is sustainable mobility is generally defined as the mobility which compatible with human and environmental health. If unsustainable transport significantly contribute to climate changing and have negative effects on people health, trains, buses, and bicycles and electric cars significantly reduce CO2 emissions and make our cities more livable. The transport sector consumes huge amount of energy and is responsible for a third of energy consumption in the European Union. The energy used is currently produced mainly by using non-renewable sources such as oil and gas. Of these emissions is so harmful that 90% is given by road transport. Now, our plane is no longer able to withstand the pollution from transport. Change towards sustainable mobility is urgent. So references are Observer Research Foundations, The Print, Scroll.in, Methanol Institute, and Varista. Here we have compiled our studies and we have put it in the presentation. Thank you for hearing, and here I end this.
আগেরটা থেকে অনেক বেটার হয়েছে ম্যাম। আর কোশ্চেন তো আমি আগেরটা করেছি।
So stop recording করবো তো?
কোশ্চেন